Guys, I'm really happy to welcome back to the podcast, Lauren Boebert, U.S. Congresswoman, Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. She's on the Natural Resources and Budget Committee. She's involved with the Freedom Caucus. No surprise, she's co-chair of the Congressional Second Amendment Caucus. But I'm really excited about her new book. It's called My American Life. I'm actually in the middle of reading it. Lauren, welcome to the podcast. Great to have you. Your life has been kind of a wild ride in the last couple of years, but I want people to sort of hear your story from the beginning. So talk a little bit, walk us through the who is Lauren Boebert and how did you end up where you are now?
Yeah, so it's an amazing story. There's some incredible life experiences, and I wish that more members of Congress had the life experiences that I've had. They would have more of a better view on reality and how average Americans live and navigate through this life. But I was actually raised in a Democrat household. My mom was a single mom, and when I was 4 years old, she moved us to Aurora, Colorado, and we thought that it was going to be this wonderful life, living in the mountains, and instead we were put in this crammed 2-bedroom apartment with 2 large dogs in Aurora. And soon we later found out that my stepdad wasn't the dream man that he had painted himself to be with my mom. He became very abusive. And then throughout the years, there was a lot of drug and alcohol abuse. And it wasn't long before my mom was stuck. She was stuck in a cycle of abuse. There's always the extremes of the abuse and then the extremes of the sincerity of the apology that keeps these people stuck in this cycle. But that also led us to breadlines. Standing in line for government cheese. I remember looking around a large warehouse and saying, is this us? Are we so poor that we have to get powdered milk, that we aren't able to afford groceries? We have to use Monopoly money to go to the grocery store. And I knew at 11 years old that was not America's best. We ended up moving to the western slope of Colorado, and my stepdad gained some nice employment, and things looked a little bit different. And then I started working as well. I started working at the local rifle McDonald's, and I learned 2 things with that first paycheck. First of all, I didn't like FICA. He was taking all of my money, and I'm still on a mission to find out who exactly he is. But also, I could do a better job taking care of myself than government ever had. So I began to develop conservative values unknowingly. I later met my husband, and we have 4 boys now. We have learned through our relationship together, literally growing up together, that when times get tough, you get tougher. We had options to revert back to the failed Democrat policies, the lies that our parents believed when we were children, that was the best way to live life. We could have reverted back to that and said, okay, government, send me a check. I can't do this on my own. But instead, we decided to press in even harder, no matter what obstacles were in our way, and almost welcomed that resistance that comes in life. Like that means you're on the right path, because it's not just a walk in the park. But he and I have our 4 children together. We've opened up businesses together, restaurants, and we've worked in the oil and gas industry. And we've seen that when you put your hand to something, you can create wealth. You can create opportunities for other people. My faith in God and the relationships that I have in my church led me to minister to women at the local jail. And that was some of the most precious moments of my life. I served there for 7 years. And to go into that jail and personally introduce these women to the God who could turn their shame into glory, rather than directing them to another government program that says, you are not enough, you will never be equipped to handle life on your own, take our program. I was able to offer them freedom and independence. And I think that's where a lot of our self-worth and dignity come from, actually doing something productive. I was able to bring these women into my home, offer them jobs, and that was so powerful. And so we have a heart and a passion for people who have struggled, people who society hasn't treated them the best. Maybe it was their home life. Maybe it was decisions that they made that landed them in a poor situation. But having that compassion encourages me to show them the way out. Not just a hand out, but a hand up, and saying, you can do this too. If we can, so can you.
Let's take a short pause. When we come back, more with Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.